Noreen and welcome to my kitchen and a new episode of What's for Dinner. Tonight we're going to be making a Swedish meatball bake, and it is really easy, it's really delicious, and it has things in it that you probably already have on hand, and if you don't have those things, you can just substitute others. So let's see how we're going to put this together. We're going to go over the ingredients, then we're going to clear. I'm going to bring my mixer over because I'm going to use my mixer to start the process. And we're going to start with equal parts. I have 1 pound of ground pork, 1 pound of ground beef. I've chose grass-fed beef because I have it available. We are going to add a cup of either fresh or dried breadcrumb. If you use dried breadcrumb, you're going to want to add a little milk to your meat mixture. These are fresh breadcrumbs that I had in my freezer. This is my homemade bread, so no worries. We have 1 small onion that has been finely minced. I put this through my mini chopper. I have about 1/4 cup of chopped fresh parsley. You can use dried. If you use dried, use about 2 tablespoons, but this is about 1/4 cup of fresh that I ran through my chopper as well. And we're going to build a sauce. Right here I have 2 cups of beef stock and 2 cups of mushroom stock because I had some on hand that I needed to use up. You can use all beef stock, you can use beef bouillon, you can use beef broth, whatever you have on hand. I also am going to use some freeze-dried mushrooms because I don't have any fresh on hand. I forgot to buy them at the store. So we're going to rehydrate these in our sauce. And I'm going to build my cream sauce by using some flour, some butter to make a roux. We're going to add the stock, we're going to add some heavy cream, we're going to add the mushrooms. Those are all going to simmer, and we're also going to add some nutmeg into the sauce and into the meatballs. And this is how we're going to make a Swedish meatball bake. And we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we have our meat that I put in the mixer bowl of my KitchenAid. You can do this by hand, of course. This is just quicker. I also forgot to tell you that we're going to be using 1 fresh egg, so that goes in there. I'm also going to go ahead and put the onion in there. Breadcrumb, the parsley, and I think I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna put a sprinkle of nutmeg, not a whole lot, like 1/4 teaspoon, and that's it. I'm also going to put a splash of milk in here. And I have a little bit of half and half here in my fridge that I need to use up. So, like 1/4 cup. That's entirely up to you. It depends on the consistency and the dryness of your breadcrumb, but it does make for a very moist finished product. And we're going to let her rip, and we're going to mix it together. Okay, you just want to mix that until it's blended. You don't want to overmix your meatballs because they tend to become tough, and we don't want a tough meatball. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and start scooping these meatballs. Don't have to be perfect. Just like so. So I'm going to continue rolling these, putting them in the pan, and then we're going to go back and build our sauce, and we'll be back as soon as that's time to do that. Okay, we're going to build our sauce, and that starts with a roux. And I'm starting with 2 tablespoons of butter and about 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And get this in here and get it toasting. You want to cook this for just a few seconds, like 20 or 30 seconds, to get the raw taste out of the flour. And then you'll be able to know when that happens because you'll start to smell a nutty aroma. And that means that the flour is fully cooked. And we're there. It doesn't take long. At which point, we're going to add about half of this stock. About half, so about 2 cups of the mushroom and beef stock mixture. And we're just going to whisk and whisk and whisk. And we want to thicken this, so basically we've made a bechamel, but instead of using milk, we've substituted the milk for stock. So really, I believe this is considered a velouté. I would have to look that up to confirm, but I think I'm on the right track. And you're going to just cook this until it comes to a simmer and it begins to thicken, at which point we will move on to our next step. Oh, almost forgot. I want to add these freeze-dried mushrooms in here because I want them to start rehydrating as well. And then that will help us to determine the amount of additional liquid that we need to keep in here. So we'll be back as soon as this starts to thicken. I'm going to add the remaining last bit of our stock, and I'm just going to continue to stir. I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon of cracked black pepper, and I'm going to add another 1/4 teaspoon of the nutmeg that I went ahead and ground earlier, which I did not add to the meat mixture. This is really what makes it Swedish, is the size of the meatball, the construction of the sauce, the nutmeg, and then in Sweden it would be served with lingonberry jam. But that's not something, you can get it, it's expensive, but you can just serve cranberries along with it if you like. I don't know that we're going to be doing that. And you can serve this with mashed potatoes, over rice, or with egg noodles, which is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to boil up some egg noodles here in just a little while this is in the oven. Okay, I'm going to add some heavy cream in here. That was about a half a cup. And for the amount of stock, we want to add about 1.5 cups of cream. Now the cream is going to help the sauce thicken as well as it bakes, and this is going to be absolutely lovely. I'm going to taste it for salt right now. Because
we're going to taste it for salt.
We are going to taste it for salt, yes. It needs salt, but it's divine.
Yeah.
It needs some salt.
Definitely salt. You can really taste the mushrooms in it, yeah.
I'm going to put about a half a teaspoon of salt in there. Give it a whisk and we'll give it another taste. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pour this sauce over our meatballs. I'm going to have a little bit left over. I'm going to pop this in the oven right now. I'm going to bake it for 30 to 45 minutes until it's bubbly and the meatballs are cooked through. When it's time to pull it out, I'll bring you back and we'll fix you a plate of Swedish meatballs. Alright, let's fix you a plate of these amazing Swedish meatballs.
And they are.
Oh my god.
OMG.
You have no idea. So you'll just have to make them so that you'll have an idea of exactly how delicious these are, because I have got to tell you, and you're going to laugh at me, I haven't had Swedish meatballs in forever. And these are fantabulous. So, we'll come over here. Swedish meatballs. Baked in the oven, made really easy. You didn't have to stand at the stove and brown them and turn them. You just made them, rolled them, plopped them in the pan, made the sauce, poured it over, and baked them and went and did something else because we're busy people. Your dinner cooked while you were off taking care of other business. So, think about that. I hope that you give this a try, and I hope that you love it because I know that we're going to love it. And until next time, I'll see ya.